Hello and welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to another Chelsea news video. In today's video, we'll be discussing JB Gittens pushing a move to Chelsea from Dortmund. We'll be discussing Osimhen waiting for a move to the Premier League. Chelsea away kit launch yesterday. And then also Ekitike. Man United has joined the race to acquire Ekitike. And Chelsea's been looking at another striker. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. From Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea feel they are well covered up front for the Club World Cup, so didn't want to pay Club World Cup tax for Gittens. Dortmund were asking for 55 to 60 million pounds. It goes on to say that the agreement between JB Gittens and his agent and Chelsea is done until June 2032 on a 7-year contract, and he won't change his word and plans as he wants Chelsea as his next destination. We all remember when the transfer window ended, the first one, that Jamie Gittens was waiting on Dortmund, to give him the green light to go to Chelsea and join us for the Club World Cup, and that didn't happen. And he was seen driving away within his 4x4, angry because he wants to move. He is pushing for the move, and Dortmund know this, And I saw also reported that Chelsea and Dortmund actually agreed on the fee, but the payment structure was a problem. And if you look at our previous deals, Omari Kellerman, these type of guys, if we do want to keep our payment structure in place, we're going to have to add a little bit more money. We're going to have to add maybe 5 to 10 million pounds to that offer we made to Dortmund if we want to keep the payment structure that we want. I think that's the only thing, it's very minor. I do think Jamie Gittens will be a Chelsea player going into next season. And I would like to hear your thoughts. Like, do you think Jamie Gittens is a perfect winger for us going into next season? Because it's only been him. There's been rumors with Nico Williams, Garnacho, all these type of players, but the priorities was always Jamie Gittens. So, do you guys think that he's the type of player that will elevate the team come next season? Will get us more goals, get us more assists on that left-hand side? Or do you think we should go in maybe for another winger, a more experienced winger, a winger that will give us more goals like Nico Williams or Rodrigo or any one of those names, But I have to say that this deal will get done. I do see JB Gittens as a Chelsea player with the next window that's opening on the 16th of June. It's just only minor things between Dortmund and Chelsea, and this gets done because also you must remember that Dortmund also wants Chukwuemeka, so that's also a leverage for Chelsea, because at the end of the day, once they sell Gittens, they will move for Kani Chukwuemeka, and they can't be too difficult with us, because we'll just do the same thing with them for Kani Chukwuemeka. So I do think this deal gets done. I do think Kani Chukwuemeka goes to Dortmund. At the end of the day, it's a win-win for both clubs. It's a win-win for both players. I just see this deal happening. Then we move to a Turkish expert, Sadar. I'm not going to pronounce his surname because I'm going to bottle it. Victor Osimhen is not in a hurry and expects a move from England. I heard that if Chelsea buys Osimhen, Galatasaray will also move for Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea. Very, very interesting news coming from Turkey. I think Osimhen wants to join Chelsea. Honestly, we all know Chelsea is his boy club. Drogba is his idol. And the only thing that's standing between Chelsea and Osimhen is his wages. If he can bring his wages down, if he really wants to join Chelsea, if he really wants to come to the Premier League, he's going to have to bring his wages down, because I've heard that he went something like 280 to 300,000 net. Chelsea's not going to pay that type of money. That's why, in effect, no other club in the world is going to pay that type of money. They will leave it for the last day of the transfer window. I'd rather go for other targets. It's much cheaper, and then maybe come back to him. If he really wants to join Chelsea, I think he needs to bring his wages demands down in an area where we can match him, and maybe take some bonuses. This is the only way that he can come to Chelsea. If he accepts what we offer with some bonuses that can maybe boost him to 200 to 250,000 pounds a week, I think Osimhen gets done. He's going to have to take, the wage cap of 150 with added bonuses if he really wants to join Chelsea. Otherwise, I don't see Chelsea moving for him anytime soon. they might look at Nicholas Jackson and say, okay, if we do get Osimhen from Galatasaray, from Napoli, Galatasaray still needs a striker, and they're looking at Nicholas Jackson. Chelsea might make some money there out of Nicholas Jackson. You know, we could easily get up to 50 to 60 million for Nicholas Jackson. The way he's developed over the 2 seasons at Chelsea, coming from the Premier League, having experience, he's now international for Senegal. I do think we do get like maybe a 50 to 60 million pounds for a player like Nicholas Jackson, because you must remember he's also signed down in a Tetra contract. I think Jackson still has like 6 years, 7 years left on his deal, so they're gonna have to buy out the contract, and he's in very, very little wages. So I do think that there can be a possibility for Jackson, you know, and the club might look at, okay, we can maybe send Jackson the other way. And I still say, let's move Osimhen. We don't have to give him a 5-year deal. Give him a 3-year deal with the option to extend to another year. You know, that brings Osimhen up to when he's 30 years old, 31 years old. We can still sell him to Saudi afterwards. You know, even if we're not going to get the amount of money that we paid for him, but there will be a way for him to go to Saudi later on. But just give Liam the chance to develop properly as Chelsea's #1 striker. You know, and if we're really looking at trying to win trophies next season, we have to look at a striker like Osimhen. Seriously, we have to. And the thing is, if Osimhen goes to a rival club in the Premier League, we are all screwed. You know, we are all screwed. If Arsenal picks up Osimhen, if Liverpool picks up Osimhen, if Manchester United picks up Osimhen, you know, then it can be a long day for us in the season, next season. But Osimhen fits our system to a T perfectly. You know, we all know Maresca wants Osimhen at Chelsea. The type of chances we create, you know, crosses, as Osimhen is the only striker that's on the market that's aerially dominant. We need it in our team. So, you know, somewhere we're going to have to compromise. Chelsea's going to have to come to a compromise. Osimhen is going to have to come to a compromise if this deal happens. You know, otherwise I don't see this deal happening. But it's good to see that Galatasaray is looking at Nicholas Jackson, you know, because if we see maybe another season it doesn't work out for Nicholas Jackson, we will have to think on selling him on, you know, to maybe a Galatasaray or to any other team that's looking at Nicholas Jackson. But tell me your thoughts down below. Do you think we get Osimhen, or do you think Osimhen is just stalling, you know, maybe for the right offer to come in from a European team? But I really think that he wants to join Chelsea. The only thing is the wages. That's the only thing that's stopping him from happening. And let's see what's going to happen going forward. So just leave your thoughts down below. Do you think we still going for Osimhen, or do you think that the lump is enough going into next season with Jackson as our second choice striker? Let me know down below. And if we move on from Florian Plettenberg, Manchester United have now officially entered the race for Hugo Ekitike. His price tag is 100 million euros. So now we have 3 clubs going in for Hugo Ekitike. I don't think this is a good move from Manchester United, because now Frankfurt is going to stand on the 100 million euros, because now they're going to have a bidding war. That's exactly what they wanted. You know, this is how you get more than what you expected from a player. Remember with Caicedo and Brighton, when Liverpool came in, they made us pay 105 million, 150 million for Caicedo, because they were in the mix for Caicedo, and the Brighton was saying, okay, you can give me the most money, go ahead. And that's exactly what's going to happen now for Ekitike between Liverpool, Manchester United and Chelsea. If I'm Chelsea, I'm removing myself from this, you know, because it's not going to end well when it comes to money. You know, I think Liverpool is going to offer a decent amount of fee with a decent amount of salary. Manchester United can do the same. Chelsea can offer the fee for the player, but when it comes to wages, we can't compete. You know, this is where I think Liverpool and Manchester United will blow us out of the water when it comes to salary, because they can entice Ekitike to come to them because they have a salary. Manchester United don't have European football, so Ekitike might look at that and say, okay, I don't want to really move there because I want to play in the Champions League. And Liverpool has that. Chelsea has that. But at the end of the day, we saw Liverpool offering Van Dijk, Mo Salah, over 400,000 pounds a week. Wirtz is also over 400,000 pounds a week. So they can offer the wages that we can't. At the end of the day, like I said, we are handicapping ourselves with this 150,000 wage cap. And if we stick to it, big players won't come to Chelsea because there will always be another club interested in them, and they can offer the wages that we can't at the end of the day. This is just me. Really, I think we should just remove ourselves from the Ekitike deal, because at the end of the day, I just don't think we can compete with Manchester United and Liverpool when it comes to wages. This is my thoughts. What do you guys think? Do you still think we should move for Ekitike? Or do you think that the lap is enough? The lap and Jackson, and maybe we should turn our heads maybe to Victor Osimhen. Maybe go for one last time in for Victor Osimhen, see what he says in terms of wage demands and all of that. Let me know down below. And this one is from Wild. It says Chelsea FC reached out for 6'6" striker Nick Woltemade before the under-21 Euro, stating they were monitoring him closely and his contract situation. Stuttgart will start talks with him soon with a salary increase planned. He's a German international. Maybe a lot of you guys don't know a lot about Victor Woltemade. He is a German international. He played now in the Euros for Germany. He's a striker. He's alright. I wouldn't say he's a blockbuster. He does score goals. I think he got 12 goals and like 5 or 8 assists this season for Stuttgart, last season for Stuttgart. But he does have a problem. He does tend to get injuries a lot every season. If you look at his games played and the amount of days out that is for the injury, and specifically a back injury, and this has kept him out maybe for 3 months in a season, 2 months in a season, and then also other little knocks here and there. But it's not lighting it up. He's 23 years old. He's not the type of striker that's putting up 20 goals a season. Like Ekitike, who scored last season 20 goals for Frankfurt. So I just think Chelsea was just looking at him, just for interest sake. I don't think we're going to move for Victor Woltemade. He's not the type of striker that we really need. I think the Lap is better than him. I think Jackson is better than him. So it's not like a world beater. I just think Chelsea is just keeping an eye on him. Maybe if he blows up, that's why Stuttgart wants to secure another deal with him, because they are seeing the clubs are sniffing around him. And maybe if that day comes, they can cash in on him, But I don't think any club will move for him. I think he stays at Stuttgart. I just think Chelsea was just looking at him, just for potential. Just to see, okay, if we maybe buy him, what can we do with him? All of those things, to buy and sell him and to sell for profit. I don't see Chelsea looking at him as a striker that's coming into Chelsea to lead the line. It's more of a potential thing to make a profit later on. This is my thoughts. Then we move for what Nizak and Sela said about the players that's up for sale at Chelsea. The players are Raheem Sterling, Axel Disasi, Kepa Arrizabalaga, Jordi Petrovic, Armando Broja, João Felix, Renato Veiga, Ben Chilwell, Kyle Chukwuemeka, Leslie Ukuchukwu. Those are all the players that are up for sale in this current window that's going to open now the 16th of June. Now, if I count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players out of that list was bought under Bluco. 7 players. We only have Ben Chilwell, Kepa Arrizabalaga, that was under Roman's era, and Armando Broja as a Coben player. The 7 players we bought under Bluco are now up for sale. This shows you that there's no transfer strategy behind what the directors are doing. They are not buying players, that will come in and elevate the team or help the team in any way. They're only buying players on potential that they will blow up so that we can sell them for a higher value. This is what a lot of Chelsea fans don't want to understand. I've been saying this thing, on Twitter, where I say these owners and directors, they don't really care about what Chelsea does on the pitch, the first team. They mostly care about how much money we can make from the players. Again, I will go back to the Bloomberg interview of Ekbali, where he said player trading is a market that he wants to look in. And he mentioned Brighton. Brighton now are the best run club in the Premier League. Why? Because Brighton is doing the exact same thing. Buying players on a cheap, putting them into the team, developing them, going on loan, and then selling these players out for a profit. Cucurella, Moses Caicedo, other players that they've bought and sold on through the years. This is what the Ekbali and Clear Lake are looking at the end of the day. So we just wasted money on those players. Like Renato Veiga and João Felix, we bought them last season. The start of last season, we bought them. 6 months later, we loaned them, both of them out to Italy, Italian teams. And now they're up for sale. Jordi Petrovic as well. We thought he was going to be a number one. Turns out that he's up for sale. You see what I'm saying, yeah? That all these young players that we're buying, not all of them are going to play for Chelsea. Maybe 10% will play for Chelsea. And the other 90% we're all buying to send them out on loan so that they can develop, and then we can sell them on for a profit. This is they are opportunist at the end of the day. This is how the club is operating now, and this is how the club is making the money at the end of the day. Buying players on cheap, selling them, developing them first, selling them on for a profit. And then one person on X told me, show me what players that we sell for a profit already. Okay, right? I don't have to show you anything. You will see once we sell these players, the profits that we're making on a Renato Veiga, on a Kanyo Chukwuemeka, on a João Felix. Some Chelsea fans just need to educate themselves on how this ownership really runs the club, how they looking at players, not really for to compete, to win trophies, but to rather to develop, keep us in a nice level, maybe keep us in top 4, like a Tottenham used to be, like an Arsenal, and then buy these young players, develop them, and sell them on and become the feeder club that we are at the moment. But a lot of fans are still in denial about this, but they're gonna have to see, to believe. And that thing is happening now because there's no more Cobham players to sell for pure profit. We sold most of our Cobham players now, and we're hearing that a lot of Cobham players don't want to extend at the club. They rather want to leave. It is what it is at the end of the day. Then to end, Chelsea unveiled their away kit for next season. And boy oh boy, isn't it a beautiful, beautiful kit. It's a tribute to the 1974 kit that we used to have. It was white, green and red. And now this is just a new modern type of way of the kit. If you look at how Nicholas Jackson is looking, Noni Madueke, Didier Drogba, this is a clean kit. When I saw it revealed, when Didier Drogba had it on, I was like, I have to get this kit. I really have to get this kit. This season, Nike is really stepping up. They're really stepping up the game. Even the home kit looks fantastic. I can't wait for the third kit, because the third kit was said that it's gonna be a total 90 kit. That's a retro kit. That's gonna look so good. And if you look at this away kit, you don't really want a sponsor on there, because the sponsor will just ruin that kit, especially with the lines running down here. The sponsor's gonna go right across there. And you don't actually want a sponsor on this kit. And if you look back to the 1974 team, there was no sponsor on that kit as well. So maybe if we can, I don't know how it will happen, or is it possible to happen like this, where we don't have a sponsor just on the away kit? I don't think that happens. So I'll suggest every one of you just go get a kit before the sponsor deal is approved and we have a sponsor in the front of the shirt, and it just ruins the shirt at the end of the day. The shirt looks clean, just as is. I have to get it for myself, and the home kit as well. Maybe I'll get both. I will see. Maybe I'll get both. But anyway, people, that's the video for today. Leave your thoughts down below with everything we discuss here. Like the video, for the algorithm and all of that. and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. You know, like I said, the goal is now to reach 10,000 subscribers. Hopefully we'll get there really soon. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, people. Peace.